The Indian and Pakistani foreign secretaries met for the first time since the Pathankot attacks in Delhi, but both sides had very different agendas on the table. India warned Pakistan not to be in denial about terrorism as it raised the Pathankot probe, while Pakistan raised Kashmir, the Samjhauta attack and the arrest of an Indian man that they claim is a raw agent. The first meeting of the Indian and Pakistani foreign secretaries after the Pathankot attack. In the course of the 90 minutes, India said Pakistan cannot be in denial about the impact of terrorism on the bilateral relationship, as Foreign Secretary Jai Shankar raised the Pathankot probe and the UN sanctions against Jaish chief Masood Azhar.
Foreign Secretary Jai Shankar clearly conveyed that Pakistan cannot be in denial on the impact of terrorism on the bilateral relationship.
The familiar India-Pakistan shadow boxing was on full display. Pakistan's statement to the media, which was oddly released during the course of the meeting, made no mention of Pathankot, but instead emphasized on resolving Jammu and Kashmir and the capture of Kulbhushan Jadhav, an Indian national that they call a raw agent. Indian government sources have told NDTV that Foreign Secretary Jai Shankar hit back, asking which spy agency would put their agent in the field with their own passport and without a visa. The resumption of the comprehensive dialogue was not on the agenda, and while the ice may be broken, action on Pathankot will clearly determine the way forward. In New Delhi, Nidhi Razdan for NDTV. Ambassador K.C. Singh joins us. Sambit stays with us, and Maiza Hamid of the PMNN, the ruling party of Pakistan, also joining us tonight from Islamabad. Ambassador Singh, your takeaway from today's discussions, firstly, it came as somewhat of a surprise that the Pakistani Foreign Secretary was here, but it looked like the two countries were speaking very different things when at the end of the day, as far as these talks are concerned.
Yes, it seemed that Pakistan came prepared to play to their gallery, to play to the gallery in Kashmir, and the whole thing started even while the discussions were on. And they focused on the three things, as you said: Samjhauta, why are you letting people off, Jadhav, and Kashmir. I think Pakistan has made a determination that the two-track approach adopted in Bangkok is just not going to work. Because the two-track approach was the one under which the national security advisors were supposed to discuss terror, and the foreign secretaries were supposed to create the framework for a new comprehensive dialogue. Now with Pathankot, we put the FS level talks on the back burner, and we said we must address the terror thing. So then slowly what they have done is, they have created an equivalence, a moral equivalence, created evidence by picking up one of the persons and saying he was in Balochistan, and then they've gone to OIC and got a number of paras put there, accusing India of all kinds of things. Then they got Chinese backing them on Jaish-e-Mohammed not being listed. So it's an emboldened Pakistan that came here. So they had their say. I don't think we were talking to each other. We were talking past each other to different constituencies. And India seemed to have been taken aback a little because we didn't get an instant reaction. India took about an hour before they reacted. And then, of course, the reaction was very sharp because this was a call on the foreign secretary. These were not foreign secretary level discussions, because the Pakistani foreign secretary had come to attend a different conference. And that's why FS received him in his office rather than across a conference table. So despite that, when they realized that Pakistan was using it for politicking and really for scoring brownie points, then of course it's got even more complicated and even back to where they started, or even beyond that.
In fact, I made that point, Sambit, that in all these years of covering India-Pakistan talks, I'd never seen a situation where you have statements being leaked to the press while the talks are still on. But Sambit, just comment on what Ambassador Singh said, that it was as if the two countries were talking past each other and not to each other. And, the Pakistanis came here scoring brownie points. When you look at the Pakistani statement today that was released to the press, there's no mention of Pathankot. Everything is, about, Jammu and Kashmir, Samjhauta, alleged raw agent, but no mention of what is India's core concern, which is this probe.
And in fact, Ambassador K.C. Singh had the answer in his question, answer itself, in the sense that he rightly pointed out that India reacted after an hour or so, but the reaction was sharp. And in diplomacy, patience and the way you react is of much importance, rather than the hurriedness with which you react. So when Pakistan reacted in hurriedness, it only further exposed Pakistan's immaturity as far as diplomacy is concerned. And all that I say today is with all due respect to the Pakistani guest that we have over here on the channel. But though I'm not privy to the diplomatic stand between the final nuances of the diplomatic stand between the Indian and the Pakistani dispensation, because that is a government take, but I have a very different take on what happened today. Let's revisit a bit back in time, and Nidhi, if you would remember, 7th of April 2016, we had debated that evening as to why Abdul Basit had said that, well, there would be no foreign level talks, foreign secretary level talk between India and Pakistan, because it seems Pakistan is calling that talk off. And the domestic discussions that took place in India was, well, was it a confused policy of Mr. Modi that for the first time Pakistan is calling the talk off? I remember the Congress spokesperson also going into a tangent on that count. But today I believe when there was a meeting going on, Heart of Asia meeting, in which mostly it is represented, if I am right, Ambassador KC Singh may correct me, mostly represented by joint secretaries. We see the Foreign Secretary of Pakistan coming and talking to the Foreign Secretary of India. So definitely the first wicket that falls over here is a statement of Mr. Abdul Basit, that probably Mr. Basit was not informed properly, or probably somewhere Pakistan has taken a backseat rather, as far as that declaration of April 7th is concerned. So the final nuances of diplomacy has to be seen over here.
Well, I mean, I'm going to take that back to Ambassador Singh in just a moment. But Ms. Hamid, let me bring you in on this. You know, the Pakistani Foreign Secretary comes here, and surely a statement by Pakistan could have made a reference to the Pathankot attack. And not, and why were these statements being released while the talks were still on? I'm telling you, within minutes of the talks beginning, and this was within, I think, 20 minutes, because we were so surprised to see the statements on our phones. We're hearing about Kashmir, and we're hearing about Raw, we're hearing about Samjhauta. We know it seemed like the Foreign Secretary had come and it was all playing to the gallery.
I think it's. I would just say that action speaks louder than words. Pakistan has always been very cooperative as far as Pathankot is concerned. Statement or no statement, it's our actions that portray that we have been very cooperative as far as Pathankot is concerned, regarding the evidence or any such thing that was needed by India. And I think regarding the talks of foreign secretaries, I believe that Pakistan concerns have to be met and they have to be talked about, and that is what the foreign secretary was addressing.